Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Hangout with Coach Kerry. I'm really excited about today's episode. It's episode 73, and what we're going to be talking about and who I'm going to be interviewing is an expert in Feng Shui. And you may be a solo entrepreneur, a small business owner, and you found my show and you found my episodes because you're looking for tips and strategies on how to be more successful in your business. You might be working long hours and maybe struggling a little bit with getting that level of success you want. You may have lots of clients, but now you're overwhelmed because you don't know how to manage them all. So you've come here looking for the answers, and the Hangout with Coach Kerry show is where you can find those answers. Remember, you can watch us live at 9 a.m. Pacific time, or you can go to my website and you can watch all the other videos that are there. And while you're there, I'm just going to remind you that you can pick up a copy of my book, How to Get Out of Overwhelm and Accelerate Your Results Now. And you can instantly download that when you go to my website. And when you subscribe to get the website, you will also get updates on upcoming episodes and past ones that you might find of interest. So on to today's episode. I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about today because this isn't just a time management strategy, a productivity strategy, a marketing, customer service strategy. We're talking about something outside of those kinds of what I'm going to call tactics, and we're going to talk about something that can absolutely affect the energy that you have in your business. And that's a really, really key piece in your business because you have to keep your level of energy up, especially for some of you who might be working, a job and working your business part-time. It's really important to keep your energy level high and also to attract all the right and positive energy. So today, my expert is Gail Cole, and she has a company called All Things Balanced. And, she knows a lot about success and using Feng Shui because she's used it for her own business, and I'm going to have her tell you a little bit more about that. And so she's going to talk about how to bring balance and energy into your business and your workspace that you work in. So Gail, welcome to this episode today.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Good. Oh, I'm excited about it. So Gail, tell us a little bit more about your journey around Feng Shui and how you ended up here as a result of this exploring this area of education.
Okay, well, I was at a crossroads in my own life and I wanted to make some changes. I needed to make some changes. I just felt stuck. And just like a lot of my clients say, they feel stuck. So I started using self-help books and looking at Feng Shui books, and that something just clicked with Feng Shui. And I really felt strongly that my environment wasn't supporting what I wanted. I could set up in my head what I wanted. I could try and be the person I wanted, but somehow my environment wasn't in alignment with what I really wanted. And so those two were opposing, and I had to line up my environment. And that's what Feng Shui is all about. It's lining up your environment to what you want in life and in your business, in your home, in everything that you do. Feng Shui is everywhere. Energy is everywhere you go. So that's a little bit about, so I started studying it, and then dramatic things started to happen. I wasn't happy in my job. I wasn't happy in my marriage. And so I just ended them and started on this new journey. And what happened were amazing things for me, just amazing things. I got a really good career behind me. I went back to university. I found the new love of my life. My business started to flourish because I set my office up exactly the way I wanted to attract success. And so all things were balanced. I guess that's where I got my name of my business. All things were balanced. So everything moved forward. I wasn't stuck anymore. And that's what happened. And that's what I do for my clients. I help them get unstuck, and I help them see all the new opportunities and possibilities.
And it's interesting, that whole notion of balance. So Feng Shui isn't about just one particular piece, which is to attract money, for an example, or to attract certain things. It's about having that harmony and balance, as I understand from our conversations.
Yes, it is. It's about harmony and balance. It's about, being focused on what you want, knowing what you want. You have to be really clear, because the universe is only going to provide you with what you actually ask for. So you need to be really clear on that. So balance and harmony and flow, it sounds like something that is hard to achieve, but it's not really. It's very easy to achieve. It's all in the way you set up your environment.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but I want to ask you this question about clarity, because you raised that. How does one achieve clarity? So do you create the balance and then clarity comes, or do you actually have to be clear first before you can set up the energy right in your environment?
Okay, well, that's a good question. Clarity is really based a lot on clutter. And even though you might not think your head is full of clutter, if your space is cluttered in any way or not organized, that's what actually keeps clarity from entering your space. And your mind's always, subconsciously, you're always concentrating on that piece. So clarity, you may think you have clarity, but if your space is not aligned and clear and organized, then clarity is really hard to find. So what I'm saying is that, you might have a little bit of clarity in your mind what you want, but if your outer and inner worlds aren't aligned, then it's not going to work. So so that's why having inner clarity and outer clarity, then you've got a recipe for success.
So one of the first things people could do is take care of the clutter that they've got in their space. That's
Yes.
that's kind of probably like, step number one. Would you say that?
For sure.
Yeah.
You can't, put really good feng shui into a space that's full of clutter, because all that's going to do is frustrate you. And so getting rid of the clutter, number one, that would be the first step. Like the paper in offices, for instance, is huge. And a lot of my clients, that's what they struggle with, getting organized, being organized, having a system. And once you've got that system, then you can start looking at the balancing everything else, bringing in color, certain things like that,
Right.
attracting what you want.
Right.
Yeah.
So step number one is get rid of the clutter.
Get rid of the clutter. Get rid of the clutter. Yeah,
Right.
that's for sure.
So then one of the things we told people we would talk about today is how to put the power, what's the power position in your office or the space that you work in. Tell them a little bit more about that, how to identify that and how to create it.
Okay, well, the power position in feng shui is all about giving you stability and strength and feeling grounded in your business, in your office. So if you're sitting with your back to the door, it's like the old saying, getting stabbed in the back, feeling vulnerable, and it weakens your position. So in business, that's exactly what it does. It weakens your position. So if you absolutely have to have your back to the door, if there's no other possibility, then there's ways that we can correct that. But if at all possible, and in most cases it is possible to have your back to a solid wall, that provides stability and support in your business and puts you in the power position. So being in the power position gives you control of what's going on, and things don't happen to weaken your position. So being against a solid wall and being able to see the door, and I just made my little notes too, just like you do. Power position.
Yay!
Key to having a good stability. So clutter, number one, power position, definitely number two.
Perfect. Okay, great. I'm loving this because we're giving people practical things that they can do right now.
Yes.
So how can people create more cash flow in their business? Because, that's obviously one of the pieces. People can have a successful business, but actually they can have limited cash flow.
For sure.
So what are some of the tips that they can do to create more cash flow in their business? Because I know they're leaning forward to want to know this answer.
Okay, so cash flow is all about flow and energy. Okay, so the tips that we just talked about, clearing the clutter, that will that will actually create flow in your office because there's more space, and space actually encourages flow. So that's one thing. Putting you in the power position is going to put you in charge of your business and attract more clients. Now, other ways to encourage cash flow is to bring in a water element. And water in Feng Shui is about flow, like a river flows, the ocean flows, that kind of thing. Not stagnant water that just sits quietly, but some flow. Not a rushing river either, because that's when you get overwhelmed. So you want sort of just that real good balance in water. So something that's just a nice stream maybe in art, or maybe you want a little water feature for your desk, because water is very soothing and calming. And so when you're sitting at your desk doing your work, it keeps you calm and focused. And it's very nice to have that water element on your desk. Some people prefer not to. They may not have the room. They may just like art with water in. That's fine too, because that will encourage the cash flow. There's other ways to bring in water. The water element in Feng Shui is all about black and dark blue. So if you couldn't find a picture of water, or you didn't want a water element like a fountain, you could bring something in that's got blues and dark blues and black in it. So maybe somebody that you really admire, maybe in your form of business, in your line of business. Maybe it's somebody you look up to, a mentor, or somebody you want to be, somebody who's very successful. And that would be good too as well.
Right. Okay, that's great, because I'm just thinking, just over to my right, I have a painting that's actually got water in it, and it's dark blues and black. So
see,
hey, I'm happy.
And the interesting thing about that is a lot of people have Feng Shui intuition. They may not know Feng Shui to the depth that I know, because I went to school and I became a certified practitioner. But a lot of people have a little bit of knowledge about Feng Shui because it's all about how it feels. So if that's what you feel good in your space, bringing in a water picture or the blues and blacks, then, possibly your intuition is telling you that. So listen to your intuition, and that will help you too, because you'll know what's right and what's not.
Okay, great. Excellent. Okay, so we've talked about clearing the clutter. We've talked about the power position. We've talked about adding either a water element or something with water, or blues or blacks, or something that you kind of really aspire to.
For cash flow.
Yes, for more cash flow. Excellent. So then our next one is how to actually attract more clients. Like, how can people actually, obviously it's going to do with cash flow, but are there other tips in terms of how they can set up their space to get more clients, more business, more customers, more sales?
One of the things is, when you enter your office, you want to have clear space. So nothing blocking the door. That blocks clients. It's interesting. You might think that's not a big deal, that you have stuff behind the door and you can't open the door, but that actually blocks the energy. So it blocks that flow of new clients. Some people like to have pictures on the wall, maybe a floating frame with happy clients' faces in it, or testimonials. That's always good in your office because it brings in good energy. Whether or not your clients actually come to your office and see it, that's irrelevant. It's putting it out there. It's putting it out to the universe. It's saying, I have happy clients. I have success. I have, no blockages. Everything is flowing well. Having a little bit of red in your office actually beefs up your power. So it actually is attracting, that fire element in Feng Shui, we call it. And so you could, put some red in your office as well. So that's very attractive, and making your office welcome. Even though some people, like I said, don't have clients come to their office, you come to that office every day. And so subconsciously you're thinking about what's in that space. And wouldn't you like your office someplace where, you know, you're going to feel good in and you're going to feel like your client?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you can see behind me, I've got some red.
Yes,
And that
that's
was based on
really
some,
nice.
and that was based on some advice that you gave me. Actually, I painted it, so it's even got my energy in it too, which is great. This whole testimonial idea. What about awards and certificates? You know, often people will get awards for having achieved certain things or acknowledgments and whatnot, but they kind of hide them away. Would you recommend that they put them on their walls so that they're there?
Oh yes, because that supports you. That's energy supporting what you're doing. So if you have a degree, or you have, like I have mine from UVic, and I have my Feng Shui certification behind me, that supports what I do. So I know that, you know, even though, getting back to, maybe clients don't come into my home, but that supports me. And I look at it every day and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of what I do because I'm very knowledgeable, and that's what I give to my clients. I give my knowledge and my expertise because that's what I do. And I love Feng Shui. I love everything about it. So why not tell the universe what I want out of my business? I want success and support, and other people should be proud of their accomplishments. I wouldn't hide them away, because it's saying that you don't want people to know, and you don't want the world to know you're successful and you're educated on your core subject of your business.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And let's
So,
face it, we all have days when things are a little bit up and down, and it's a good reinforcement just to visually see that, isn't it? You know, those kind of things
oh,
say, hey, you know, this is what I have done. I have been acknowledged of this, and this is what I've got, and these are my awards. And it helps us pick up the phone or make another call, or, you know, do something
yeah,
that
and you should be
maybe,
proud of them.
yeah.
Yeah, you really absolutely need to be proud of what you've accomplished, because it does take a lot of hard work, no matter what you do in your business. Being an entrepreneur is very, you know, it's not an easy job. So having everything that can support you is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Gail, you know, especially for the people who are working in maybe a guest bedroom, you know, they don't have a lot of options in terms of where things are. But I understand in Feng Shui there are some sort of positions within a space that, if you have the option of positioning as you go around the room, that are really, really key for that, to sort of set up the right energy and set up that balance. Can you just, briefly go through where those might be, so the people watching this today might look around their space and maybe just make a quick adjustment of one thing or two things, and really feel their energy is increased as a result of it?
Sure. Yeah, often people, you know, we know that condos these days are very small and there's limited space. So you might be combining a guest bedroom with an office. That's totally understandable. A lot of people do that. So you can do many things. Your desk and your chair should be as away from the door as far as possible, and you should be able to see the door. Like we talked about the power position. So you want to have your desk and chair away from the door as far as possible, being able to see the door. You know, the way you want to set up your other furniture is fine, but that's what you should be doing. If you don't want other people, such as guests, to see your space, maybe when they're visiting and that, then there's always a partition. You can put up a partition temporarily so that it's still a private space. You want to have good lighting though. So if it's possible that you can set up your desk near a window, natural light is really good. It helps you with your energy, your own personal energy, keeps you lifted up, and you can look out the window if you just need to take a break for a few minutes from whatever you're doing. So, you know, being away from the door, against a solid wall, with natural light if possible, all good tips. Just combine, you know, just make up your own little space, make up your own little office space. You can still have something behind you. It doesn't have to be big and bold to take up the whole room, but it can be part of a space. And if you really feel that you don't want to see it yourself, then, you know, hopefully you can somehow close it off at night and just put everything away and not have to think about it.
Great tips. So
Yeah.
you've given all of our listeners today a really a bunch of set of actions that are really specific and clear for them, which is great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's that clarity that's there. And so, Gail, if people want to find out more about you and what you do, and if you have some information, where would they go? To your website? Is that the best place for them to go?
That is a good place to go. And I know it's down at the bottom of the screen, but I'll just remind everybody, it's allthingsbalance.com. So that's a great place to find me. You can send me a message. You can look at all my packages. I have many packages, and I can come to your office and give you a hand. That's what I love to do.
Great. And go ahead.
I was just going to say, don't forget that there are lots of Feng Shui principles that are pertain to not only your office, your whole house. So that's really important too, not just to only focus on just your office, because even though it is really important and supports your business, you need to have flow and good energy in your whole home.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And so, Gail, people can go to your website, allthingsbalance.com. And also, of course, you have the ability to do consultations with people over technology as well, if they were to send you pictures of rooms and all that kind of stuff. So you don't have to be where Gail is. Gail can actually work with you anywhere, as long as you've got the computer and some technology. She can be there to support you. So
Yes.
Thank you so much, Gail. That was great. Remember, everyone, 9 o'clock Pacific time on Monday mornings is the Hangout with Coach Kerry show. You can go onto my website, HangOutWithCoachKerry.com. There's a lot of tips and resources there. You'll have 73 videos that are all free for you to be able to watch and go back and watch over and over and over again. Please comment on the videos, because I get those messages and I'm happy to respond back to you if you'd like some clarity on any specific thing. I also have a blog, so I have blog posts on there as well. So please do go and comment on those. And don't forget, if you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, grab my free book there, How to Get Out of Overwhelm and Accelerate Your Business Now. So thanks again for your time, everyone. Until next time, please be inspired and have an awesome week. Bye-bye, everybody.